everybody, and Happy New Year. My name is Matt, and welcome back to Liverpool Latest. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, as well as subscribe if you want to see more, and of course, join the conversation down in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you. I have a lot to talk about today, mostly focusing around today's matchup against Leeds United. Now, not that I want to bring up old shit, but we have a bit of history with Leeds this season. We had an absolutely tumultuous game with them just a few short weeks ago, and basically caused the whole Mohamed Salah drama that was the talk of the town for a good week or so. But, yeah, the match itself was not very enjoyable if you look at it from our perspective. For Leeds, it was fantastic. It's one of the 3 draws that they've had over the course of the last 5 games, and frankly, the fact that they haven't lost a match is pretty, I don't want to say shocking, but they're on a pretty good streak with a couple of wins and a couple of draws. We have been on a bit of a streak in our own right, being unbeaten in the last 3 matches. Granted, very shaky, to say the least. So, this time we're having the match at Anfield. The first match of 2026, and it is officially the halfway point of the season. I am not looking forward to this for a few reasons. I don't know how well we're going to play. I don't really know what the setup and the formation is going to look like. I do have a potential starting 11 as you see on the side of my screen here. But I'm not really sure how it's going to come out on the field. Everything could look good on paper, but on the field it'll be a completely different story. I do expect Leeds to be frustrating once again. They did concede some pretty good goals against Ekitike the last time we faced them. And then we proceeded to absolutely collapse defensively, causing them to have a back-and-forth battle. And it's just, I don't want it to happen again. I would prefer not to draw Leeds twice in the same season because I don't want that on our resume as defending champions. I think we have to come in here into this match at home with a dominating mindset. The fact that it is at home will probably play a much bigger factor. I need the people at Anfield to absolutely cause a ruckus and get our boys in the game. That is for sure. So as far as tactical news goes, we are in a decent spot. All right? Szoboszlai is coming back. He wasn't in for the game against Wolves due to suspension with too many yellow cards, but he is going to be back, and he's going to be bringing the bolstering, I should say, the midfield for us, which was a bit of an issue last week, if I'm saying so myself. At times, it was a little shaky. As far as absentees go, obviously, we know Joe Gomez isn't going to play. We know Isak definitely is not going to play. And Mohamed Salah is somewhere in Africa, hopefully winning the AFCON tournament, which I'm not sure if they're playing today either. But I will have to do a double check on that and see when that's going to go down. Obviously, I expect us to dominate possession as we have had the last couple of games. Hell, even against Leeds, we had a pretty solid possession game. Just so happens that our defense decided to concede 3 goals in that matter and give away a really bad penalty, mind you. But I think it's going to be the same old with Slot. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, possibly at some point given substitutions. But what I really need us to do is play sharper. I don't think the attacking has been very sharp. I think the midfield's improving quite a bit. The defense needs to be sharper. We just can't be conceding goals against these bottom-of-the-barrel teams. I mean, Leeds right now, as far as I can tell, are near relegation, okay? They're 16th place on the table as it stands right now. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever why we should lose this game on paper, especially sitting at 4th place back in Champions League contention as long as we can hold that top 4 position. As far as Leeds goes, well, like I said, they've been unbeaten in the last 5 matches. One of those was the draw against us, which essentially sent our entire organization into a shitstorm. But they're definitely going to have some struggles because they have struggled away quite a bit. They haven't won in their last 6 away league trips and often concede goals away from Ellen Road, their home stadium. So I definitely expect it to be much of the same. I would be shocked if they score a goal in this game at all. But if I am a betting man and I am to guess, I would hope, keywords hope here, the ending score will end 3-1 if Leeds is to score at all. And my bigger hope would be if the gods are with us, Ekitike scores a hat trick, finishing what he could not do at the Leeds Stadium. So I expect this to be a very dominating game. I expect Szoboszlai to have an absolute masterclass once again. I think he probably needed a little bit of a break because he's played so many minutes throughout the course of the season. But we'll have to see if he's any bit rusty, though, if I'm being honest with you. So, what does my starting 11 look like? Obviously, in goal, Becker. He's the only option. Mamardashvili does not even compare, as I've said countless times before. If Becker is an option, he is the option. That's all I have to say. As far as right back goes, I think Jeremy Frimpong would make a good selection for that as well. Center backs, obviously Konate and Van Dijk, they're the only 2 we have at this fucking point. Maybe Calvin Ramsey, but he barely plays to begin with. And left back Kirkez, he's still iffy, but he's got to get his reps in somehow. So my hope is that he stays to his position and has a much more centered game, if you catch my drift. Basically where he's not too chaotic and he's not getting out of position too much. And I need him to be the player that position needs him to be. And honestly, you can make just as much of a conversation for Andy Robertson to be in at left back as much as Kirkez, because I think Robertson, despite his flaws, fits the role much better than Kirkez ever has since he's been a part of this team. As far as the midfield goes, Gravenberch and Curtis Jones. Those are probably going to be my 2 names that I'm going to throw into the hat. I am not the biggest Curtis Jones fan, as I have said, but he has been doing very well these last few games, so I think he gets that spot for sure. Szoboszlai, obviously he's got to be in the right wing and attacking midfield position. He's, in my opinion, to leave him off the pitch at all would be a mistake in the starting 11. And attacking midfield, we have to put Wirtz in there. Wirtz has just been absolutely on fire. Deserves that start 110%, if you ask me. He's been constantly improving these last few weeks. I want nothing more than to see another Florian Wirtz masterclass. As far as the left wing attacking midfield, McAllister, you can probably throw in there. Although I would prefer Chiesa, because just a preference of mine. I think if we're going to keep making the argument that Chiesa can't play and can't start for longer periods of time, well, why don't we just give him the reps to do so? I think if we're going to throw him in if we're going to dog on him about it, we might as well see if he can actually do it, because he doesn't play as often anyway, so we might as well throw him in there. I would rather see those 2, McAllister and Chiesa, more than Cody Gakpo, because Cody Gakpo is just coming off of injury, and God forbid he gets hurt again. I don't think you should be starting or even in the conversation to start, but some people would like to see that happen, especially Arne Slot, because we all know that we all know Cody Gakpo is his illegitimate son. And, of course, in the striking position, Ekitike. Like I said, need that man to score a hat trick and finish what he could not do in the first matchup against Leeds several weeks ago. Speaking of Chiesa, by the way, I have been doing a little bit of research on this, and there was a article posted, something saying something along the lines that there has been a rumored conversation or rumors going around that Chiesa would like to go back to Juventus, and I quite frankly don't blame him if that is the case. I doubt that has any sort of legs to it right now, but in the event that at some point in January we send him back to Juventus for whatever reason, I would say good for him. I think he would probably deserve it because we did not treat him, or at least the organization and this coaching staff did not treat him with any sort of respect to keep him here to begin with. So if he wants to leave, 100%, 100% validated in that. So though I doubt he will leave, the fact that he at one said in time coming up with in terms of talking about a return to the team, he did say never. He did sign for us in 2024 for 10 million euro, which I thought was pretty low now thinking back on it, but at the same time, makes sense considering how much he's actually played, which is very little, if at all, at times. And he's only had 32 appearances and 7 starts across all competitions. Featured 19 times in the Premier League for Liverpool, starting only twice, the last time being the Wolves match last week. So, seems as though Juventus are interested in Chiesa again. Chiesa apparently previously wanted to stay, but was told by Thiago Motta that he was not part of the project that they were trying to make at that time. So now it seems Juventus is trying to crawl back to him and say, hey, we want you to be a part of the team for whatever reason. And again, I think the way he's been treated at Liverpool has been, at times anyway, completely uncalled for. I think the fact that he's put in so much effort on the pitch. And then listen, I'm not going to say that Chiesa's got to start every fucking match. I mean, I know I would rather have him starting in this match particularly, but I'm not saying he's going to start every match. But I think the fact that he barely plays at all, and the fact that he is judged by the coaching staff for not having the reps is preposterous, if you ask me, to say the least. So if he is to leave in January, going back to Juventus and leaving Liverpool, I would say more power to him. And I'm sure he'll play a much bigger part with them now than he has with us, because as much as I love Chiesa and as much as I love what he's done for us, I mean, they're not going to play him. No matter what he does, he could score goals if he has that opportunity. If he could score goals or last minute winning goals, or he could save a goal defensively when it gets past the keeper somehow, some way, and it's still not appreciated by the head coach or the manager, then I don't really know what else to say at this point, because he's just cursed. He's cursed. That's what it is. And I think, and the fans love him. I want you all to understand. The fans love Chiesa. I've seen a lot of online chatter about it. I've seen the criticisms too that he doesn't play a whole lot. So why is everybody constantly on about it? But when he does play, he's probably one of the few men that put in the most effort on the field from my viewing perspective. Anyway, so it would be a loss, but it would not be something that is completely shocking for me personally. But granted, this is just a rumor that I am reading and reporting to you. Last but certainly not least, speaking of the transfer window, it is January 1st, and it looks like we've already had our first victim of the transfer window, as James McConnell has been, his loan that we gave to Ajax over the summer has been cut short, and the midfielder is set to return back to Anfield immediately. It's said that the 21-year-old struggled for minutes in the Netherlands, starting just 2 games and logging 219 total minutes across 7 appearances. Basically, from what I can gather, a similar situation to Harvey Elliott, although granted, I think Elliott's is much more egregious than James McConnell because, frankly, I forgot James McConnell even existed until I saw this report this morning. So do with that information as you will. That's all I have to say. It seems like the loan agreement is terminated, and it is what it is. You know, why it didn't work, who the fuck knows? Some people are reporting that it wanted to be an experienced, they wanted an experienced holding midfielder, and McConnell was instead signed as a compromise and never fully convinced the coaching staff, I guess, of his efforts and his ability, and he was not featured in recent matches with the squads. So, what does that mean for us? McConnell's back on the team. Fantastic. What do we do with him? No idea. I have obviously he can't go on another loan, and it would suck. I mean, he can get minutes for the FA Cup maybe, but I don't see him part of the Premier League. He's probably depth, if anything. Like, at least he's an option. Is he a good option? I don't really know, to be honest with you. I haven't seen the guy play all that much because he barely plays for us to begin with. So how am I supposed to judge him based on anything? Like I said, excuse me for being rude, but I barely remembered the guy existed up until this report. So, and honestly, now that it all comes back to me now, and when I saw it, so I remember that they sent him to Ajax, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess goodbye. Thinking to myself, like, who is this guy? Why do I care? But hey, listen, if he can reinforce the midfield, which is already kind of thin to begin with, and a lot of our guys in that midfield are playing a lot of minutes and potentially getting a lot of injuries, it's better than nothing, if you ask me. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out the first Liverpool Latest of the year. Only a little bit of time before the match begins against Leeds, and as always, I will be here with my post-match reactions in the next episode. So, Happy New Year to you. I hope it's everything you want it to be, and I hope that Liverpool could get their heads out of their ass in this second half of the season, and I just hope we have a good transfer window. That's all I can hope for at this point. So, as always, my friends, you'll never walk alone.